Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. This is going to be my 4-month update for Pan That Palette 2023. Oh my gosh. I can't believe we are 4 months into this project already. Time is going by way too fast. I'm not mad at it. I'm ready for the school year to be over. I'm ready for summer to be here. We had a really warm weekend and it was glorious because I have spent the last 2 weekends before this weekend freezing my butt off outside at my kids' sporting events, and I am over it. I am ready for warm weather. I'm ready for the sun. I don't mind a little sweat. I can handle it. I'm just ready to not be frozen at all. I'm also ready for the school year to be over. Have I mentioned that yet? I am really ready for this school year to be over, and I need some time at home. I need to be home. I haven't been home much because I'm working from 8 o'clock until 3 o'clock, and then I'm doing sporting stuff with my kids all evening long, and it never ends, and I just need to be home a little bit. Anyways, let's get on to my update for Pan That Palette. I'm actually going to save Baby Pan That Palette for last because that's where the majority of my progress is this month. But let's start with Pan That Palette. For Pan That Palette, the theme that I'm doing is actually 2 themes. The first one is Kicking It Old School, which is a Pantastic Ladies collaboration theme created by Dana and Jessica. And I will have their channels along with a link to the Pantastic Ladies group on Facebook in my description box. But basically that theme was based on working on your oldest palette from your collection. I'm not really sure anymore what my oldest palette is. It's all kind of a blur. I have some really old makeup, but I mean, I just picked something that was from the older category and I went with that. The other theme that I am working on is Better Together, which is a concept that I created, and a lot of people wanted to do that project too, even though it wasn't chosen by the Pantastic Ladies group as the theme for the year. A bunch of us decided to do it, and I am honored and flattered that you guys decided to do it. I especially want to shout out LJ and Chaylon for encouraging me to do this project and offering to do it with me when nobody else would. I really appreciate both of you for encouraging me and supporting me with this Pan That Palette theme. But anyways, let's start with my Pan That Palette theme. So obviously the Better Together idea was working on 2 palettes that for whatever reason work better together than separate. And the 2 palettes that I chose are just 2 little quads from my collection. The first one is the Clinique Teddy Bear Quad, and this is an old Maybelline quad in the shade Natural Shock. And I don't have much to talk about with my teddy bear quad. It is so sad. I'm just not reaching for it. I did post a picture of this on Instagram, and somebody begged me to throw this little sponge tip applicator away, which cracked me up because it's so funny when something bothers somebody and you had no idea, like you had never even noticed, like I never even noticed that in there. And if you would have said to me, hey Paula, did you know that there's an applicator in your quad? I would have been like, I don't think so. Didn't even notice it, but it was driving somebody crazy on Instagram. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I promise I'll throw it away. So I'm going to take that out right now. I don't use it. I've never used it. I just use my brushes, but I just left it in there. So that's going in the garbage because it was really offending at least one of you, if not multiple of you. And this is what the quad currently looks like. I don't know if it looks different at all. I feel like I haven't used it at all. I don't know. Maybe I've used it a couple of times. This is really getting the shaft this year. I have really found that I can create the neutral eye looks of my dreams using the Maybelline quad and my Baby Pan That palette, and I just am not reaching for this, which I didn't see that coming, but I definitely hope to get to this more down the road, but it has not been getting the love that it deserved or that I intended on giving it when I put it in this project on January 1st. I didn't see this coming. Nobody is more shocked than me, but it hasn't been getting used. That's it. Let's move on to my little Maybelline quad. I do use this quite often. I use this lightest shade that I've hit pan on before almost every day as a brow bone highlight. It is a beautiful shimmery glittery brow bone highlight. I don't have any other pan in this quad. I'm hoping to have pan on this one soonish. That's the next prospect. I use that one the next most. I did make 2 lovely discoveries about this palette over the past month. The first one being that if I wear this darkest shade that is pretty much like a blackened brown and I layer this white shade on top of it, it's wearable, because I don't feel like this blackened brown shade on its own is the most wearable shade for me, especially at work. But if I layer this whitest shade on top of it, it creates kind of like a cool toned, almost taupey shade that I don't mind. I don't love it, but I don't mind it. And it's definitely more wearable. But the other discovery I made over the past month, which might be even more exciting, is that this second shade is the shade I've been having the toughest time with out of this entire palette. It's not, it looks like a shimmer, right? It looks kind of shimmery and metallic-y. But whenever I put it on my lid, it just didn't do anything. It didn't go anywhere. It didn't improve the eye look in any way. And I was like, how am I going to use the shade? And over the past month, I found out that this actually is a really nice transition shade, which I thought it was going to be too like sparkly to work in my transition area, but it does. And I really like it that way. So that does not bode well for my Clinique teddy bear quad. But I do have a way to use that shade, and that is as a transition kind of crease shade, or like blending out the shimmers on the eyelid kind of a shade. And I'm really happy to have discovered that. Hopefully I will have a second pan in this quad by next month's update. We'll see. To be honest, during the month of April, like I said, I don't think I reached for the teddy bear quad at all. And I really only reached for this quad, other than that white shade for a brow bone highlight, I really only reached for this quad for about a week out of the entire month, which is not good. During the month of April, I spent a huge chunk of time working on my Modern Renaissance palette, and I spent a huge chunk of time working on my Pool Party shadow from Sephora. That's where the bulk of April went, and I just didn't reach for any of these shadows a lot during the month of April. I have been trying to focus in on these shades a little bit more because I feel guilty about it. And I have been using them more over the past week. It's already May 7th, so we're a week into May. I'm filming this late. But today came and went and I had to go for color. So I didn't wear any of these shades other than that white shade on my brow bone today. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with my eyeshadows, and I'm sticking to only using the eyeshadows that are in project pans, but I have a lot of eyeshadows in project pans, and I'm not reaching for these as much as I thought I would be, or as much as I feel like I should be. All right, and then let's move on to my Baby Pan That palette. This is a palette that has 5 pans or less that I will be working on until it is gone. The Pan That palettes are over on December 31st of this year. This is over when it's finished. It stays in this project until it is gone. And I believe I've expanded pan on both the shades in this palette. When I want to go for a neutral eye, this is just the palette I've been reaching for. There were a couple of big chunks down here with this matte shadow, and I did smash them up into smaller pieces. There's still a few left in there, and I actually need to smash those pieces up even more because they're still kind of big. But there were tiny little like dusty bits, and I used the majority of that up. This will be smooth sailing once those little loose bits are gone, and it'll be just a joy to use that last piece of this eyeshadow up. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think it'll happen within the next month, but I do see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I do think that one's going to be a goner soon. I'm going to put my finger over that matte shade now. I think I've expanded pan on this gold shade as well. At least I hope I have. It is hard to get my finger in that pan, and I like to apply the shade with my finger. But yeah, it's just when I'm in the mood for a neutral eye, that is just my go-to. I love that shadow so much. I've really been enjoying it. But out of these 3 palettes, this is definitely the one that I've been reaching for the most, other than this first shade, which I use for a brow bone highlight every single day. So I'm a little bit disappointed with, where I'm at this far along in the game with these palettes, but I mean, what can I say? I spent 3/4 of the month of April working on and things that weren't these 3 palettes. So it's really hard to make progress when you're not using the palettes. So that's the way it's going. Anyways, that is going to be it for this update, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.